this is me. So I'm Donna. I'm VP Customer Success at Gloat. I'll tell you a little bit about Gloat and myself before I go into success and sales collaboration. So Gloat. At Gloat, we use AI to match people like yourself with career opportunities. So we function in the HR space. It's a really interesting world. And we started with a marketplace that offers visibility to people to what career opportunities are out there. And our AI matches people with these opportunities, kind of like a dating app, only for business. We've recently launched a new product that does the same thing, only internally. So internally within an organization, we do internal mobility. So any employee within an organization will sign up to the platform and get offered and matched with opportunities internally that can help him enhance his career within the organization. I'd be happy to share more details later if anyone's interested. So a little bit about myself. I'm originally from the States. I work here in Tel Aviv. Our offices are in Yigal Allon. I've been in the world of customer success for 10 years. I started at Wall Street English, which is a software that sells English to teach people English. I moved on to WalkMe. I was a leader at WalkMe, and today at Gloat for nearly 2 years. I'm married. I have 3 kids. It's always a good icebreaker to share with everyone that I gave birth to my 3rd daughter practically in the elevator of the lobby of my apartment building. That always helps break the ice. I'm an avid book reader. Love reading books about customer success, the startup world, VCs. And I have 3 degrees. I love to learn. And I'm also addicted to sports. At Gloat, I give a workout every morning for 10-15 minutes, so just to keep everyone in shape. So if anyone's ever in the area and you want to join at 9:45 approximately, the yoga mats, the music, the vibes, we have it going on. Cool. So today, I'll talk a little bit about sales and customer success collaboration, or lack of. It's a pain, at least I feel and have seen across many organizations, where sales and customer success don't necessarily get along. Many times a conflict of interest, anger. Oh, another deal is closed, they don't know what they're selling, that kind of thing. So if I see any heads nodding, yeah, you all know what I'm talking about. So I'll talk about how to create synergy and how to work together and how it's a key factor for success of a company. So I have a picture here of this cute little boy wearing an Armani suit. Very expensive one, but problem is the suit is too big. It just doesn't fit. I brought this picture here because to talk a little bit about examples I've seen for when sales sell ill-fit customers, I'll call it. I'll start with my first example. I was a CSM managing an enterprise customer, very successful. And we'd recently released a really exciting feature that was perfect for this customer. It saved time for the customer. It was exactly what they were looking for, and the sales team went ahead and sold the feature. Great. Customers started using the feature, but very quickly, within a week or 2, bugs were being reported, support was on call. It wasn't a fun period. Nothing was working, basically. And we were wrapping our heads around what's going on, why is it not working? After 2 or 3 weeks, we came to realize that the feature we sold it to a Japanese customer, but the feature didn't support Japanese. True story. And it took us about 2 or 3 weeks to realize this. More examples, real examples from my career that I've seen. A software is sold, it requires integration, but the customer doesn't support third-party integrations. True story. Next in line, the software requires users to collect the LinkedIn, but the user base, these people don't have LinkedIn accounts. And lastly, this is probably very popular. The product is sold to a customer who just doesn't have the resources to allocate to work on the product, to develop it, to launch it, and implement it. All very sad, but the good news is you can change it. I want to talk a little bit about why it's so important to change it, what impact it has on an organization when the wrong customers are sold and signed on. So, as I'm sure you all know, acquiring a new customer is very expensive. You talk about the marketing funnel, creating the leads, all the campaigns, the marketing that's done around that to get the leads in, to qualify them. Then the demos, the sales calls, right? Finally, the customer is on board. Then you have to train them and onboard them and implement and launch the product. That's a very expensive process for a company to go through. The good news is, after you acquire the customer, to retain them is actually quite cheap. Studies show that it's even 7 or 8 times cheaper to retain. The profit is much, much greater once you retain a customer. The problem is when you're selling to the wrong companies, the ill-fit customers, you're spending a lot of money on acquisition, you're not making profit, and they're leaving you. You're not retaining these customers, and you're not making profit. So this is a really important aspect to understand from a business perspective, why it's critical that sales and success work in collaboration, educate each other to understand who and which customers to sign on. A really important caveat, selling to the right customers doesn't mean you're not going to have angry customers or complaining customers, right? That's going to happen even if they're perfect for you and they just want to make your life difficult and drive you crazy. They might be doing you a favor, actually, just putting pressure on you to improve your product, and that's fine. Important caveat to understand. So to start with, I think the most important thing for sales and success is to collaborate and identify who the right customers are. Which customers have success with your product? Now, there's no one global answer here. It might change over time. There's a lot of parameters to look at. It might be a technical fit. It might be a problem fit. It might be a resource fit. There's so many things to look out for. But it's critical to understand who these customers are and to agree on this so that sales sell to the right people with the potential to succeed. Now, I'll talk about in practice how we do this at Gloat, what I've seen to be a success for this type of collaboration. So first of all, whenever possible, get the customer success to be involved early on in the sales pipeline, okay? Early stages if possible. Now, it really depends on the company you're working at, the number of leads that come in, the number of customers that come in every month. But if and when possible, involve customer success to prevent selling to the wrong people. Making sure to educate the salespeople to focus on those who have success potential. And that starts early on. Once you have collaboration between sales and customer success, it's a two-way street. Customer success should also help with advocacy and referrals. If there's great collaboration, sales should be able to use customer success to get people to recommend the product and seal the deal. Collaboration in general, I'm not only talking about heads of departments, it should also be a ground level, managers, team members collaborating. You could do this in monthly meetings, weekly meetings, think tanks, post-mortem ideas, but really important to collaborate on all the levels. At Gloat, I'll give you an example. The sales and customer success teams, they sit together. So just by sitting together, it makes such a big impact because you're constantly collaborating, working, you know the people, you understand the needs, you understand the problems, you hear about the problems live. So geographically, being in the same space, just that makes a difference. In terms of bonuses, incentive models, I've seen very successful companies have a model in place where sales and success are incentivized for the same things. So sales deals that are closed, renewals that are made, expansion, they're all under the same team. So that when a new sale is made, the customer success even contributed to that deal and is very happy to take on that customer involvement early on. And lastly, feedback sessions. So having a look at new customers and customers that churn to understand. So constantly evaluating why our customers are leaving. Is it because customer success perhaps did something wrong in the process, or because to begin with this customer shouldn't have been sold? So I have a few examples here that I want to touch on, also from Gloat and also from companies generally in the HR space and the tech space, and how they collaborate for sales and customer success. I took an example from Natero. What they do is really early on in the pipeline, so they have sales stages. They have about 7 sales stages in the pipeline. And customer success get involved at like stage 2 or 3, okay? The idea is to review the pipeline, look at the pains the potential customers have, to understand and educate the sales teams on where is the right fit and what deals to prevent, okay? And if need be, the customer success will get involved in the sales process to understand the pain, to see that there's indeed potential to succeed moving forward. HubSpot, they have a very famous story where they increased their sales targets and they met crazy sales targets, really fantastic and phenomenal. But very soon after, they saw a spike in churn, 8% churn. This is a popular study. You can read about it on Google. This 8% churn that they saw had to do directly with the increase in sales targets. The salespeople were simply selling to the wrong people. And as was mentioned early on, the evaluation of a company has to do a lot with churn rates. So you want to prevent that. You want to make profit. So what they did is they put in place a bonus model, basically, where salespeople get incentivized for new deals only once the year is closed and the customer renews their product. Okay? So just by changing the bonus model, the salespeople were now incentivized to sell to the right people, people who would end the year and continue their contract. At Gloat, it's very interesting. I can share personal stories and everything that we go through within the company. Sales and success at Gloat, they also sit together. Really important, they report to the same person, okay? So same interests in mind. So essentially, it's one unit, sales and success. And just by being one unit, that collaboration, we're constantly learning and educating each other. So we do it in weekly meetings, we do it in monthly meetings. We constantly share the goals and the targets and where we are. So customer success care about the sales pipeline, just like the salesperson will, okay? And what this enables is us to make sure that we're bringing on the right customers for long term. And when we do make mistakes, and we do, we stop and we talk about them. So this was the wrong customer. This was the wrong fit. He didn't get value here. It didn't work. It's obvious they're going to churn. What are we going to do to make sure this doesn't happen again? What checklist do we need to have in place to make sure the next time when a deal comes, we go through this list and make sure it's checked before we bring on this customer? And when you do sign the right customer, the potential is great. It doesn't guarantee success, but it guarantees the potential. Here's a few things that can happen when you bring on the right people and you have the success potential. Your customers will achieve their business objectives. They will be able to advocate for you, which is huge for bringing on more deals for your marketing, for your branding. They will talk about case studies and testimonials and refer other customers to you. That won't happen if you bring on the wrong customers. Expansion, obviously, cross-sells, upsells, all a result of bringing on the right people with the right success potential. And I'll give another example just from yesterday. We had a salesperson who was really eager to get a referral. I don't know how it works in your company, what it's like to get a referral, but since we're so well collaborated in one space, it nearly took him 5 minutes to get the referral, get the phone number, pick up the phone, and get that person to speak the potential lead and seal the deal. And that makes a huge impact in a company. That was my session. I'm open for questions now. Yeah. It's a really good question. Yeah. She asked about time. Do the CSMs have time to take part in the sales pipeline and get involved early on? That's a really good question. It's not always possible. At Gloat, we work with a lot of enterprise customers. So there could be very, very few deals in the pipeline, very, very big ones. So it's possible. But if you're bringing on 30, 40, 100 customers every month, of course not. Every company is different, every culture, so whatever works. Any other questions? Yeah.
Hi. You spoke about sales and customer success collaborating more to find who is the right customer. Can you give some hard examples that maybe I can take back to my company of how this collaboration can happen? I know that you just spoke about that example about sales being success being involved early on in the pipeline. That actually won't work in my company because we're too busy. But can you give some other examples maybe?
If time is a problem, and it probably is for every company, once a month, I believe is possible. In that once a month meeting and collaboration, you would have people from across the department, not only heads of, and you could take a list of companies that churned. You could take a list of companies that are having many challenges with your software or with your product, and have a think tank. Think and brainstorm about where these problems are coming from, how they can be avoided in the future, and draw the line for what the right customer is. And you're going to be tackling a lot of FOMO, fear of missing out. Salespeople will not be very happy and cooperative to give up on a lead. But if you are able within your company to change the structure, to change the bonus model, to make sure that salespeople are incentivized for long-term deals, they will have to change. And FOMO will be less of an issue. He asked about how to, I hope I got the question correctly, about how to collaborate between the different renewals versus upsells versus the need for POC versus cross-sell renewal, right? So I think the larger the company, the more focus there needs to be on each aspect. So if you're smaller, salespeople can do everything. If you're startup mode where it's crazy and chaotic, the bigger the company, the more structure and focus. So you could have dedicated people who do renewals and dedicated people who do new business and dedicated people who do renewals, cross-sells, and upsells. If you're able to do that and you have the bandwidth and capacity, focus is always key.
Thanks, Donna. Thank you very much.